Alright, so I was recording and paused the recording and realized I messed up, so I'm going to start over. Guys, this is Katana from Chronic Gaming. I am demoing how I do my mission builder stuff. Uh, DMS has the Bandit missions, aka the dynamic missions, that spawn randomly throughout the map. I build missions for my servers using Mac's M3 editor. I'll provide links for everything that I'm doing, and I'll even provide the mission file that I've built. Um, the mission file contains some scripts that I've transferred out of DMS that I call on. It also has some add actions that I've created. Um, one of the add actions, I've already got these are objects I actually have active and live on a mission I'm doing. Um, it's a train yard script. I'm doing a World War II server. If I go into tools and hit debug, this line of code here, this line of code compiles the function calculate position that Maca wrote for DMS. If it compiles it so it can be used later. Railcar is the mission name. Um, I define 0, 0 right now. Sometimes well, in the init player local, I have um, get position of the player because I have an add action in the player that you can scroll with, and I'll just demonstrate it so that if you want to see what it looks like on your map, you can, like, say your Altus, whatever, you want to go, I want what the mission will look like if it spawns in here, you can do it. But what I'm going to do is show you what it does right now in the debug. So I'll hit local exec. This is physically a mission that I have built. The map is center. The crate spawns where the man's sitting, which is 0, 0. And then on my mission, there'll be a reward tank that can spawn, and a second reward tank on hardcore that can spawn. Um, but this is the emplacement system that I have. The trains can kind of get wonky every now and then, but you can see I lowered the traction in the ground a little, or the not the tracks, but the wheels in the ground a little bit. I had tracks, and they just didn't work out so well. Sometimes if you don't get really good level ground, these can mess up. But it's just what you have to deal with when you're doing this. I tried to sync. I don't think I sunk this in far enough because I think sometimes it has a tendency to pop up. I did sync it down some. I may go back and bump it down a little bit more. Also, I can play the scenario. I didn't know that was going to be in there. Okay. I can play a scenario, and you have building object detector. That's a script I wrote. I'll explain that in a minute. It'll come with the mission. But I can click import. And this is why can I not move my character? Oh, my keys are messed up. What's up with that? Oh, that ain't cool. All right. Anyway, I took a lovely civilian, but as you can see, that arrow that in the VR missions, that arrow is 0, 0. You can see that it spawned in real nice. Now, what I did, I also building object detector, um, and you hover over it, you middle click, and then what you can do is I have that as a copy to clipboard. So if you're trying to, and this works for anything in the game, in terms of if you run that script that I wrote, it's found in your init player local. I can hover over this and find out what it is. It tells me the name of the object, and then it exports the class name to the clipboard so that if you're trying to find object names and you just don't know how to find them, you can. This is another tool basically to help you do things. But with that, I'm going to return to the editor. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play some simple structures real quick. Let's go. I don't know what I want. I don't want to pick something that. Let's do. Dang it. Let's do. This is just simply for objects. Um, bunker. Um, I have a mission I built using some of this stuff already. So, and what I like to do personally is I just like to keep everything gridded. So I'll come up here to this little thing here, and I'll click it to either 45 or 90 degrees, and I'll make sure it's highlighted like that. And now, if I'm trying to make something square, it makes it a little easier. And this is kind of a mission I built earlier. It looked something like this. I had That would have been there. Now what I'll do, and the thing I like about this, the way I've been doing this, is let's come up here. Let's make that off a 0, 0, 0, and then we'll slide that out. And that makes everything what you see. Some of the objects aren't really cantered so well, so I'll at least get it somewhat like I want it. Let's pull him out. Let's take this guy here, and we're going to want to be able to get into it. See, that ain't working so well, is it? Because that thing doesn't enter and exit like I thought it would. So you got a whole blind spot on this side, but you know what? They can figure it out. We'll do something like that. And then this guy here, he can be something like that. And then what we'll do is I'll snap it to the ground, make sure it's all the way down, and then I'll go ahead and lower it just a hair more. And usually what I like to do is actually come in and see where it ends up, and I'll go negative 0.1, and I'll snap them all down the same amount. And the reason for that, oops. I really don't like any more than 3 digits. If I can, I really prefer 2 digits, but I'll take 3 if I have to. So they're all, that's actually way too low. Wow. 0.1 ain't gonna cut it. So I'm not gonna be able to do that with this one. And it's one of the things you gotta play with. Let's just go ahead and snap that one to the ground and be done with it. And we'll snap this one to the ground and make sure it's good. And then we'll come over and that's good. This guy doesn't really matter. He's kind of high. That one really doesn't matter either. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my character because I don't want to export him with the objects. And I go to the M3 editor, export objects. And then I'll take from there down to here and I'll copy it. What I'm going to end up actually doing is I'm going to get rid, what it's going to get exporting, it won't delete that for me. Okay. I don't want the semicolon in the script. If you extract a mission objects thing from DMS and look at it, it just has a square bracket just because of how it's imported. So you don't want a semicolon on the back of your right side bracket, whatever those things are called. I call them square brackets, closing square bracket. But as far as that goes, you do not want that semicolon there. It will break it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit Control C. I'll minimize the mission real quick. I'm gonna physically go into the script that I called, that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to comment out all of the other objects that I had in there, and then I'm going to paste in just what you see there. I'm hit save. I'm going to come back into the game, and what I like to do typically is I'll take objects and I'll leave them in there and move them off. What you can do is I can create another folder, and I'm gonna I'm gonna rename it bunker objects. Save it. I'm gonna take all these, I'm gonna drag them into it, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock it and make it. Well, I'll say I'm gonna lock it. Well, Mac's thing's not letting me lock for some reason, so let me see attributes. There we go. I have to go in here and right click these tabs. So for some reason, a lot of stuff doesn't work with this mod, and I don't know why. It's not really a mod, but it is on the workshop as a mod. Um, well, it is a mod, I guess, but I used to load it locally, and I just went and started using the one he has on there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a player down, and let's just do pilot. Let's put him back at 0, 0, and there he is. You can't really see 0, 0 from the map editor itself, so I always have to put something down. I'm gonna run debug, and I'm gonna call in the rail car, the same script. This just happens to be what I have. I probably, when I send it out to you guys, it'll be test objects or something like that, something a little more straightforward. I'm gonna run it, and what you see, and this is why I like running things in debug, is it messes up sometimes. Um, I have another file that fixes this bull crap that I was chasing. But I'll have it on the computer at work where I was messing around. So let me pause the video, go in and make those changes that I made on my other computer to make this work, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got it resolved. The problem is with the Macca's M3 editor mod. It finds sea level, and I have to go in and change the mod to ground level search to make it work the way I want it to. Now, you can see that I have some different objects kind of sort of loaded from previously, because when I opened the mission up, I realized I forgot to save it, so I had to place some objects down. I didn't feel like searching the same one, so similar, but not, that building's a little bit different, but the rest of them are the same. Now, what I've noticed with a lot of these objects, and the nice thing about having it where you can run it in debug, is that I can find object errors. And what that is, if the center of the object is not defined, like I place it down here and it uses bounding box probably, but if the center is not defined in the object, it'll shift, which used to be a pain in my butt because I put the objects down, run the mission, and they wouldn't be where they should be using the vector add command. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go ahead and I put these in a box in a folder. So I'm going to click and hide them and lock them so I can't move them by accident. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Tools, Debug Console. I'm going to run those previous scripts I showed you earlier. And you're going to see that it shifted. Now what I can do is I can come unhide and unlock these, and I can see where they're at. So what I'll do is I'll click on this one, and I can see this building shifted. It shifted down. So what I can do is I can slide it down until it overlaps, roughly overlaps. I can see it moved -8 meters. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to find out where it moved, and it moved +6 meters. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to 0. I'm going to go -6 meters. And then I'm going to go back to, it went in +8. And I'm going to go, I'm going to let go and go +8 more. There's that one. That should fix that one. This one here, if I get a highlight, it moved. Oh God bless it. It moved -6. And one thing you do is just recenter it. So you got to try to remember to move it back where it came from, and then it moved +6. So we'll go -6, and it went -6. So we'll go back to 0 and go +6. That'll fix that one. This one here moved on me. So it moved to the right, so it went positive 2.3, and then that's going to be hard to do. It went positive 2.3. Correction. Let's go down with it. Positive 2.3 and negative 3.3. Positive 2.3, so we're going to go negative 2.3 and positive 2.3. Is that right? I'm brain farting, guys. Hold on. Yeah, we got to go positive 2.3. So negative 2.3, positive 2.3. And this should be the exact same issue. Two 0.3. Oh, did I fuck up, guys? I bet I did. .2, not 2.3. It's late, as you can tell. So I'm going to start over just a little bit since I know I messed up. God dang it. All right. So we're going to go negative. We're going positive 2.3. And negative 3.2. So we're going to go negative 2.3. And 3.2. And the same thing here. 2.3 and 3.6. So we're going to go negative 2.3. And positive 3.2. All right, so now what we'll do is delete this guy, we'll export our objects, we'll copy those objects there. I'll minimize the game. I'm going to go into the script where the object is being called. I'm just going to comment those out because I may want to reference them, but I'm going to comment out, which you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to comment out in the call. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to come back into the game. I'm going to roll this guy back. I'm going to take these objects and I'm going to leave them there, but I'm going to hide all of that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to open there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the script. And I compensated for the bug by using the existing objects. It's not going to always be exactly perfect, and they're actually going to shift a little bit when you come in the game, because sometimes, which that's not going to cut it anyway. When I go in the game, I didn't leave enough room for people to get through either one of these doors. So either in my moving, I may have messed up a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll show the visibility here. I will take this one and I'm okay with where it's at, but I want to move it out a little bit further. So I'll just move it out. Where was it at? That's where it's at. So I need to move it out. Let's go 0.5 meters. Let's go 0.6 meters. 7 meters would be fine. Let's do the same thing with this one. Let's go out point. I don't know if I want to go that far. 12.4 meters. And let's get rid of my guy again. Let's export all the objects. Copy them. Close. I'm going to back up. I'm going to save the game. I'm going to minimize the game. I'm going to get rid of the original ones that I commented out a minute ago because I now know that I was close. I'm going to get rid of the one that I just put in there a second ago, replace it with a new one. I'm going to now open the game again, and then I'm going to comment or hide those so I can't see them. Come on. And I'd call that acceptable. Like I said, this is actual mission I have on my server, except I have a lot more stuff. I have barbed wire up here and barbed wire around the fence line to keep people from climbing up these hills. The idea is trying to force them to come into here. But with that, you can see how that works. Now what I can do is I'm going to take and turn this mission into an Altus mission real quick. I'm gonna pause the recording, and the in-game script will get this player's location anywhere on the map, so I can walk over and test how these objects are going to spawn in on Altus. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Is I'm gonna switch the mission over to Altus real quick. It's gonna have all the same codes. It's just the map's gonna change. I'm gonna pause the recording real quick. Fuck are these objects at? Interesting. Fuck you. It's not there. Alright, so I've got the Altus mission going. Now there's two different ways you can do this again. One, I can highlight this guy. I can click log position to clipboard. I come in here to the tools, debug console, and paste his position in. Make sure the position, if he's on the ground, the position is 0. It's going to call the mission file. It's going to take the coordinates you have there, and when you execute it, it's going to call it in. So you can see roughly what it's going to look like. There's some things that the DMS mission does is it tries to find like there's a find safe location. It looks to try and make sure certain things aren't there. I'm going to try to figure out how to put an object hider in that in the perimeter of the mission. Um, you can define how far away you want it so you can hide objects like this, like cut grass and stuff like that. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do that. But you can see that worked there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm move this guy over here and I'll play, which actually those objects that were there will probably disappear when I press play. Yeah, they're gone. So now what I can do is I can import the objects in the game. And I can look around and see how it actually worked out. Different. That's kind of interesting. I I have this. I have this exact mission going and these must be some different objects because I played my mission and I don't remember ever having it where I could see through it. So there's no telling with that as far as that goes. Either way, not a big deal. But either way, you can see that it's working. And that's a long video just to try and give you an idea of how to import objects to create custom missions. But like I said, this is my bunker mission that I have on my server. You're obviously going to have some people shooting at you from in there. And over here. And it's a randomized thing. There may be something that there may not be. And I've got nets trying to cover things up. But there's only one way in. Now, if you have enhanced move, one thing I was testing was, which I don't have my enhanced move set up. For some reason, all my keys have reset. But I've got the barbed wire there to keep you from running up and over the walls. I don't want you doing that on my server. So, but that's the gist of it. And we'll go back into the editor, and we'll take this guy, and let's go over to a hill because I want to show you, which a lot of you have experienced this stuff in missions before, but you have to be careful how you build your missions because let's get his location again. Well, just play. We'll just do it the natural way, and we'll import. So with this, not too bad, except now we've got crap like this. And this is anytime you put objects on the map, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Just the best thing to do is try to make sure it spawns as level as possible. Use different buildings. If you're having issues like this, use different buildings. But once you crawl up inside this thing, now I'm stuck inside it per se, or I don't even know if I can shoot through it and cheat or not. Yes, I can't really, but your AI can get up in there too, which cause you issues. So you got to be vigilant on how you, and now I'm stuck inside the tank thing. There we go. But you got to be vigilant on how you spawn stuff in and what you're planning. The biggest thing I can say do is change your setting so that you are looking for more shallow ground, or don't go as big with objects as I have a tendency to do. I mean, this one over here, there's a guy that can potentially be down in here, and I can't really even get down. Well, I can, but and actually he'd spawn in there okay on that location. He actually might still function. But other than that, I hope this video wasn't too long and annoying. But that's how I build my missions. I build all my, unless I'm doing a static mission that spawns in the exact same spot every single time, all of my missions, my bandit missions are built inside the virtual map. And then if you're doing a static mission, the big missions that always spawn in the same spot, then you go onto your map and you build those there, because it's called in slightly different for static missions than they are bandit missions. Bandit missions are small missions that randomize across the map in different locations. Your static missions are the ones that are always, if you're Altus, your Salt Flats mission is a static mission. If anybody has a Pygros military base mission, that's a static mission. Stuff like that. So there's two different mission systems in DMS. You got your bandit missions or your dynamic missions, as they're called. It's either or. Some people know them by both. And your static missions. Static missions are built on the map. They're easier to build than this because you don't have to worry about trying to play in the VR to make it happen. and then the Bandit missions like I showed you. And I will attach the I'll upload this to Steam as a mod, so you can download a template that is already ready to go, and and you can use it. And then I will upload a modified version of Maca's uh, export system, so that you don't have to worry about the ASL search, which is get position ASL, which is sea level, which is the issue. We need to get terrain level, um, and when you export it, and then it'll transpose across all the maps. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.